Hello, my name is Joffer Piosua. I'm the reporter for the group of Republic Act 8981, which is PRC Modernization Act of 2002, submitted by Aquino Reysan, Arcebal Calvin Ray, SPK Ann, Obs Buukan, Steffi Grace, and me, Ursua Joffer P. For the section 1, which is the title, this act shall be called the PRC Modernization Act of 2002. The purpose of this bill is to amend RA 8981 to grant additional power to the PRC. Under this bill, the PRC shall have the power to license, regulate, and supervise review center, organize or entities offering review classes in preparation for examinations that they administered. Uh, for section 2, for section 2, this is under section 2, which is a statement of policy, wherein it state here how the state recognize the importance of professionals to the development of our country, especially those who highly promote development. The professionals mentioned are those who are licensed in the Philippines and those whose services and practice are internationally recognized by the respective country based on the country's own regulatory measures, programs, and activities that nurture the professional advancement in their respective careers. For Section 2, it promotes the sustained development of reservoir of professionals whose competence has been determined by honest and credible licensure examination. Under Section 3, Professional Regulation Commission. This is a three-man commission which shall be attached to the office of the President for general direction and coordination. It is called three-man commission to be known as Professional Regulation Commission, hereinafter referred to as a commission which shall be attached to the office of the President. Under Section 4, this section tackles the composition of PRC, which is composition, which shall be headed by one full-time chairperson and the two full-time commissioner, all to be appointed by the President for a total of 7 years in a service. At their expiration of the chairperson, the most senior of the commissioner shall be temporary take the position. This section also talks about the qualification of those who may wish to join the PRC. They shall be at least 40 years old, holding a valid certificate of registration or like professional license, familiar with the methods of professional regulation and or licensing, and has 5 years experience of executive or management experience. For the section 5, it state the exercise of power and function of the commission. The body exercise general administrative, executive, and policy making function of the commission. Likewise, the commission shall establish and maintain high standard. And the chairperson shall be presiding, and chief executive officer of the commission shall preside over the meetings or responsible for the implementation of policies and the programs adopted by the commissioner. Under Section 5, exercise of power and function of the commission. This is three commissions or professional regulation commission as mentioned by before, and shall sit and act as a body of exercise general administrative, executive, and policy making. They are making policies, and the commission should be ones to maintain high standard. Likewise, I said earlier. And the chairperson, as presiding chief executive officer of commission, should be preside as well over the meetings and commissions. Likewise, the chief executive officer, on the other hand, are responsible for implementation of policies, uh, and also perform other necessary activities under purpose of exercising the powers, function, and responsibilities of commissions. For Section 6, compensation and other benefits, the compensation and all and allowance received by the chairperson is equal to what a department secretary received, while the commissioner receive what is equal to what under secretary received. All the members of the commission, including the head, are entitled to be retirement benefits provided under RA 1568 as amended by Republic Act 3595. So likewise I said earlier, the chairperson receive compensation and allowance. And the commissioner shall receive also the compensation and allowance equal to the under secretary. For Section 7, power, functions, and responsibilities of commission. Letter A, to administer, implement, and enforce the regulatory policy of the national government with respect to the regulation and licensing of various professions. Letter B is to perform all administrative issuance as may be necessary in the execution and implementation of its function. Letter C is to review, revise, and approve resolutions embodying policies promulgated by the professional regulatory boards in exercise of their power and function, or in implementing the laws regulating their respective profession. So, under Section 7, the power, function, and responsibilities of commission, to administer, implementing, and enforce the regulatory policies. And they also aim to perform any and all acts entered into contracts. They reviewed, coordinate, and integrate also, and approve policies, resolution. And also, they administered and conduct the licensure examination of various board. And to keep, maintain, and register of authorized practitioner of profession. Also in Section 7, letter D, to administer and conduct licensure examination, likewise I said earlier. And E, to admit the successful examinee to practitioner and profession. And likewise, issuance of certification of registration, licensing, like that, and for the preparation of their work environment. And letter E, to have custody of all records of various boards. They also determine to and prepare for the contents of licensure examination scores, rate, like that, and exercise general supervision over members of various boards. And the names of various boards shall be changed by commission by deleting the words examiner. Letter G, to determine and fix the amount of fees to be charged and collected for all examination, registration without examination, professional identification card, certificate, docket appeal and replacement, and accreditation, including surges and other fees. And letter H, to appoint, subject to the civil service laws, rules, and regulation, the officials and employees of the commission necessary for effective performance of its function and responsibility, prescribe their duties, and fix their compensation. And letter I, to submit the recommend to the President of the Philippines the names of licensed registered professionals for appointment as member of the various professional regulatory board. And letter J, to approve the registration of the and authorize the issuance of certificate of registration. Letter K, to authorize any officer of the commission and to administer oath. They have oaths. We have also oaths when we are passing board exam. To supervise, letter L is to supervise. Letter L is to supervise foreign nation who are authorized by existing laws to practice their professions either as holder of certificate or of registration and the professional identification card, or also temporary special permit in the Philippines. They will also they can apply, they can be licensed engineer as well in the Philippines only. Likewise, when they enter their own country, they have different laws, and they will also they will conduct examination for the licensing exam licensure for their country. For section 7, to mon letter M, to monitor the performance of school in licensure examination and publish the result therefore in a newspaper of national circulation. To adopt and institute comprehensive rating system for university, college, and training institute based on their passing ratio and overall performance of student in board exam. Letter O, to exercise administrative supervision over the various professional regulatory board and its member. So in letter M, uh, they collected uh, they collected ratings of the students were taking board exam. Likewise, UC, like that. They collected it and they circulated it in either internet or publish the result in newspaper or other social media platform. For the letter N, they as I said earlier, they adapt the comprehensive rating system. The institute or likewise college or training center, uh, they will overall the performance of the student in board. So they will know if the school is doing great or they provide a good quality education learning system, like that. Also to exercise administrative supervision and other various professional regulatory boards and its member. Under Section 7, letter P is to adopt and promulgate such rules and regulation as may be necessary to effectively implement policies with respect to the regulation and practices of the profession. A letter Q is to implement the program for the full computerization of all licensure examination given by the various professional regulatory boards. Letter R is to investigate and decide administrative matters involving officers and employees under the jurisdiction of the commission. Letter S is to investigate motu proprio or upon the filing of verified complainant, any member of the professional regulatory board for neglect of duty, incompetence, unprofessional, unethical, or immoral or dishonor conduct. conduct. As I said earlier, when you enter or when you submit requirements through PRC, they you can you can come and you can talk to them like as like you can inquire like that. Uh, in this section, in letter R and letter S, any behavior of member of PRC is to be polite and they have a good quality service, and sometimes they cannot provide services like when you file and the due date of filing of requirements, and when you file, it's like 7 days like that. They can provide access and approve for 7 days, and when they can when your application is pending, uh they can provide they can assist you like they can assist you and they can verify your application. But when they didn't verify it for 7 days, you can file incompetence of the PRC, or you can file the member of PRC like that. You can file a complaint through PRC, like you can direct to regional office, or you can contact them in email as well, and you can file a complaint through their regional offices. For letter T, to issue summon, subpoena, and subpoena duces tecum in connection with the investigation of case against officials and employees of the commission and the members of the professional regulatory board. We all know that we have a we have a law that we can conduct an investigation for cases against the official like corruption, or even threatening you, or as well you if you cannot if they can't assist you like that, you can file subpoena or summon in issue of subpoena or subpoena duces. uh, Letter U, to hold in contempt in hearing party or person only upon application with the court of competent jurisdiction. Letter V is to call upon or request any department, instrumentally office, bureau, institution, or agency of the government, including local government units, to render such assistance. Like that, you can call or request a department, or like as like I said earlier, you can call their regional office, PRC regional office, when you cannot if you cannot clear, or if you inquire and you're there they cannot give you a clear or even an information that you want, or the question that you need. So for letter W, to initiate an investigation upon complaint under oath by an aggrieved party of any person, whether a private individual or professional, local or foreign, who practices the regulated profession or occupation without being authorized by law. Uh, this will said clearly if they are not they are fake, or they are not authorized by law. You can file a complaint, or you can initiate an investigation. They can initiate an investigation in this matter. So letter X, to prepare an annual report of accomplishment on the programs, project, and activities of the Commission during the year for submission to Congress after the close of its calendar year. To perform such function, letter Y, and duties as may be necessary to carry out the provisions of this act. So, in this section, in this letter, you can prepare or report. They can prepare a report annually and their programs and project activities during the year of submission of after the Congress closed the calendar year, because the the Congress will give them budget when they every year like that, and to perform such function duties as may be necessary to carry out the provision of this act. And section 8, self-explanatory. The commission is authorized to create regional offices as may be necessary to carry out their function mandated under this act. Under section 8, the regional offices, it is stated that the commission is authorized to create regional offices. Like when you are in Cordillera, I think they have different offices, PRC offices, but the regional offices is in Baguio City. Likewise in Tarlac, I'm living in Tarlac. The regional offices there is in Pampanga. Section 9. Power, functions, and responsibilities of the various professional regulatory board. Letter A. Regulation of practice of the professions according to the respective regulatory laws and said profession. Letter B. To observe the conditions in said practice of profession in the observation requires the need of enhance the work environment, and the board is authorized to conduct inspection. So for letter A, the regulation of practice of profession according to the respective regulatory laws. They said here is the laws, like we have different laws in by profession. Likewise, we have in electronic engineering, we have ECE laws. We have the Republic Act of Civ- the Republic Act of we tackled last in the last few weeks. We have different laws there. And for letter B, the observation requires need to enhance the work environment, and this is for section 9, the power, function, and responsibilities. For letter B, the condition in said practice of profession, there requires the need of enhance the work environment. They uh, they can enhance our laws like ECE laws of 2004. ECE must be observed, the law, like we can alter it, or we can add different or add different purposes, because we all know the environment or the law itself is not clearly stated, or it's not perfect as well. We can alter it through time to time, or we can upgrade it, or we can analyze what is our needs or what is not to be in the section of this law. Letter C, investigation of cases that violates law or regulation that are under the code of ethics. Letter D, to delegate or entrust hearing in or investigation of cases filed before them except in the case where the issues or question involved strictly concern the practice of the profession or occupation. Letter E, to conduct through the legal officers of the Commission summary proceeding on the minor violations of their respective regulatory laws, violations of the rules and regulation issued by the boards to implement their respective laws, including violations of the general instruction of examinees committed by examinees and render summary judgment therefore thereon. For letter F, subject to final approval by the Commission to recommend registration without examination and the issuance of corresponding certificate of registration and professional identification card. After due process in letter G, to suspend, revoke, or reissue, reinst, reinstate certificate of registration or licenses for cost provided by the law. Letter H, to prepare and give out the proper syllabi or tables of specification of the subject for examinations in accordance with the academe. Proper questions should be rotated around the licensure examination within scope of the syllabus. Examination paper will be checked by a board member. Then after 10 days, the paper will be checked after approval by the commission. So that's why they handle the questions that they will give to us when we are taking the exam. They will be handled by board members. After 10 days, the paper will check and approved by the commissions. So in section 9, which is power, function, and responsibilities of the various professional regulatory board. Number 1, annual report of accomplishments on programs, projects, activities, and of the board is needed to give out suggestions on possible encountered problems affecting the profession of the board. So in section 9, it said that regulate the practice of profession and also the monitor of condition affecting practices of profession, and because they can suspend, revoke, or reassure registered certificate of registration and file an annual report, which is true. If you are affecting any if they are affecting any problems, or as well as they have a problems in the profession, they can file an annual report of accomplishment, or they can fix it and file an annual report accomplishment for the upgrading or for the alteration of their services. Under Section 10, compensation of members of the Professional Regulatory Board. This talks about the compensation of the members of the board, provided that it is 2 grades lower than the commissioner. The chairperson also receives a monthly compensation that is 2 steps higher than the members or board and it is also equal to the commissioner's salary. They also receive a allowance or benefits if needed that are provided by other laws. So this is entailed by this this and this can be, it said here in section 10 that the members of regulatory board shall receive compensation is equal to the at least two salary grade lower than the commissioner. Uh, the chairperson of regulatory board shall receive a monthly compensation of two step higher naman for the members of the board.
I'll be continuing on from sections 11 to sections 21. Section 11. Person to teach subjects for licensure examination on all professions. Only holders of valid certificates of registration and valid professional licenses of the said profession are the ones that can teach, and also that they have complied with the requirements of CHED. Section 12. Assistance of law enforcement agency. Any law enforcement agency is able to help in enforcing rules, regulatory laws that are violated by violators with accordance to the rules of the court. Section 13. Appropriations. Sum of money needed to carry out the implementation of the Act. Section 14. Authority to use income. The right to use the income given 45 million per year for 5 years for the program for full computerization of the operations of the Commission subject that the items needed are audited. Section 15. Penalties for manipulation and other corrupt practices in the conduct of professional examinations. Any person who manipulates or rigs licensure examination results, secretly informs or makes known licensure examination questions prior to the conduct of the examination, or tampers with the grades in professional licensure examination, shall be, upon conviction, be punished by imprisonment of 6 years and 1 day to 12 years, or a fine of 50,000 pesos to 100,000 pesos, or both, at the discretion of the court. B. In case the offender is an officer or employee of the Commission or a member of the regulatory board, he or she shall be removed from office and shall suffer the penalty of perpetual absolute disqualification from public office, to addition to the penalties prescribed in the preceding section of this Act. For accomplices, imprisonment would be for 4 years and 1 day to 6 years, or a fine of 20,000 pesos to 49,000 pesos, or both, at the discretion of the court. Meanwhile, accessories, imprisonment of 2 years and 1 day to 4 years, or a fine of 5,000 to 19,000, or both, at the discretion of the court. Section 16. Penalties for violation of Section 7, subparagraph 1, by heads of government agencies or officers of private entities or institution. Any head of a government agency or officers of a private firm or institution who violates Section 7 of this Act shall be punished by imprisonment between 6 months and 1 day to 6 years, or a fine of 50,000 pesos to 500,000 pesos, or both, at the discretion of the court. Section 17. Implementing rules and regulation. Within 90 days of the approval of this Act, the Professional Regulation Commission, together with representatives of the various professional regulatory boards and accredited professional organizations, the DBM and the CHED, shall prepare and promulgate the necessary rules and regulations needed to implement the provisions of this Act. Section 18. Transitory provisions. The incumbent commissioner and two incumbent associate commissioners shall serve as chairperson and commissioners respectively under the terms for which they have been appointed, without need of new appointments. The incumbent executive director shall likewise serve as assistant commissioner without need of new appointment. Section 19, Separability Clause. If any provision of this Act or the application of such provision to any person or circumstances is declared invalid or unconstitutional, the remainder of this Act or the application of such provisions to other persons or circumstances shall not be affected by such declaration. Section 20, Repealing Clause. In accordance with these different Republic Acts as stated here, all other laws, orders, rules, and regulations or resolutions and all parts thereof inconsistent with the provision of this Act are hereby repealed or amended accordingly. Section 21 Effectivity. This Act shall take effect after 15 days following its publication in the Official Gazette or in two newspapers of general circulation, whichever is earlier. RA 8981 was approved in the 5th of December of 2000. That is all from this report. Thank you very much for listening.